So since I'm a bit of a camera hoarder, people ask me all the time which camera they should choose. And in this video, I wanted to kind of give you a selection based on my opinion between the Sony A7S III, the Sony FX3, the cinema version of this camera, and the Blackmagic 6K Pocket Cam. So I've had this one for well over a year. I've had this one for almost a year. And the FX3, I've been just playing around with it for a few weeks. So I wanted to, based on that, give you a comparison of which one you should buy if you're kind of mixed in between these. So I can't just tell you this is better than this or this is better than this, just because it really depends on your use case. So I'll just kind of break down quickly some of the use cases and why I would recommend this in some situation, but I would recommend this in other situations, okay? Let's start with the A7S III and the FX3. Now, these are only a few $100 apart. So if you already have an A7S III, would you upgrade to the FX3? In my opinion, no. It doesn't really make sense because for a few $100, you could basically make this the exact same camera as this by getting this audio module to get XLR. If you don't have either one, I would 100% get the FX3 over the A7S III because you get this audio handle, you get XLR, it's gonna come in really handy. You get a tally light, you get a built-in fan. Now, are those useful in most situations? Maybe not, but if you're picking one, you might as well spend a few $100s to get this upgrade because it is going to come in handy at some point, I believe, down the line. Now, both of these cameras, outside of the few minor changes, including this handle and some of the cinema upgrades with the body, internally they are identical and they're both 4K cameras. So why wouldn't you go with this cheaper camera that's also a 6K camera? And I have the older model. They have a newer model that's even better than this one, and they fix some of the things that was an issue, like the screen on this doesn't flip out, right? It's just a flat screen, where on these it flips out. They kind of fix some of that with the newer model that I don't have. But would I choose this over these because this is cheaper, it's 6K, and it records RAW, okay? Would I choose that? This is my answer to this. If you're in the film world, indie film world, you're making films, not commercial work, not events, nothing like that, actual movies, I would recommend this over these because of its ability to shoot RAW and because you get 6K where you have some more options in the edit even if you finish in 4K, right? You could crop into your shots, maybe get your medium shot and close up at the same time in some situations if you have the room to crop in post. So that's the situation where I recommend this. If you're doing commercial work, if you already have another Sony camera in your lineup, if you already have Sony lenses, I would 100% go with the FX3. So I'm sort of putting the A7S on the side because I just don't see with the release of FX3 why you would want this. So it really becomes the comparison between these two cameras. And this one right here, if you have Canon lenses, because this comes with an EF mount for Canon lenses, I would also get this. And this is why I got this before I got my Sonys, because I already had a lot of Canon lenses. And then when I switched over to the whole Sony lineup, I first got a Metabone adapter, but I really prefer native Sony lenses on Sony cameras. So I switched entirely over for these, and I kept my Canons for the EF mount type of cameras like my C300 and these type of cameras. Okay, so that's another situation. What kind of lens selection do you already have? If you don't have anything, this is not something that you need to worry about, right? Because you're buying lenses no matter what. So it's gonna become based on the type of work you do. Do you do cinema work? Do you actually shoot indie movies? This is the one to go with, right? The ability to shoot RAW is actually a big deal. For commercial work, I just prefer this mainly because of the autofocus. In film work, I usually use manual focus and I have a focus rig. So that's another thing to pay attention to. These cameras have the most advanced autofocus I've ever seen on a camera. So if you're doing gimbal work, if you're doing commercial work, if you're doing event work, 100% Sony over Blackmagic. If you're not, and that doesn't matter, and if you could do manual focus, then again, I would stick with this. And the price point is not minor, right? This is $2,500 for the new one. This is almost $4,000, and we're not talking about building lenses. And I'm making a video right after this where it shows you the real cost of buying these cameras, because people think you're spending $4,000 on your set. you're not. It's gonna cost you almost twice as much to really build out a package with lenses and batteries and cards and accessories. So just keep that in mind. If you only have $4,000 to spend, don't buy this camera. Buy this camera, spend $1,000 on a lens, or buy some cinema lenses. Like I have some cinema lenses that are just a few $100s, but they're very manual, right? They're prime lenses, they're not zoom. But again, for film work, is perfect. So just to recap, I believe between the A7S III and the FX3, 100% spend a little bit more to get the FX3. Between the Blackmagic Pocket Cam 6K and the FX3, it 100% depends on the type of work you plan on doing. You want to shoot movies? Go with Blackmagic 6K. You want to do commercial and events and sports? Go with the Sony. If you have less money to spend as an entire package, go with the Blackmagic because you could get more bang for your buck no matter what. But again, I don't recommend this for events in any situation because at least the one I have, it has a very limited battery power. You constantly are switching batteries. You never would shoot RAW in an event anyway. That's really for film and commercial work, so that never comes in handy. So that's my brief thoughts on this between the selection of these three different cameras. And I have a resource link in the description below. So if you want to help this channel out, everything is listed below at regular price that you would get anyway. So I'll put affiliate links there for that and some of the accessories and some related videos if you want to learn more about these. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for easy to follow filmmaking videos. I post them every single week on this channel, and I really hope to catch you next time. Thanks for watching.